Hi everyone, I'm Zuzka, the Craftsy Penguin. Welcome back to another video. I'm so glad you decided to join me today. I am due a little chatty Craftsy update because there are some things that I have worked on, although I feel like I haven't done that much, but when I look at it, I did something, so it's cool. I'm still a bit, not overwhelmed anymore, which is good, but frazzled from all of the start of the full-time job and all of the stuff around kiddos. They were sick for over a week, and now the older one is at 5-day ski course with the kindergarten, which is honestly amazing. But yeah, stuff is kind of hectic sometimes, kind of not at others, and it's kind of hectic at work as well, or it was in those past few weeks. So while the last Craftsy update that you've seen was pre-filmed a bit from the start of the year and posted on like 20th of January, I believe, this one I'm trying to post as soon as possible, basically, so I can report in real time that it's settling down a bit, but there is still a lot to do, and I'm just, still learning stuff, because yes, it's the same job that I had before my maternity leave and parental leave, but I am changing the agenda a lot. So I'm learning new stuff, there are new systems and all of that. So, and I'm learning from several colleagues at the same time. So it's kind of, but I am happy with it. I like the place, the job, the people, everything. So that all is okay. Just the learning and adjusting is kind of a lot for my brain at some point, but everyone is friendly, nice to me, letting me learn, so it's alright. We should look at the stuff that I managed to do in the meantime. So on the Craftsy front, there are several projects all around me, and I will start with the one which is over there under the camera. You have seen this already, but it progressed, it's bigger, and it's stuffed now. So here comes the long cat. It looks like a log or something, I don't know. It's weird, but here she is. She's gonna have an embroidered something on her back that's gonna be done at the end, but so far she's about, 65 centimeters, so I have about 35 to go to get her to 1 meter. She's stuffed because I wasn't able to, even reach inside to properly stuff the face. It was kind of challenging, but I managed. That was at the point that I showed her to you last time. It was about 40 centimeters, and since then I managed to make this part, and I am working on it, on and off sometimes. Right now I'm in that state of mind where I can't work just on one project all the time. I seem to be going through these, waves where sometimes I need to finish everything and have just one thing to concentrate on, and other times I need to have like 5 or 6 different things to work on because my brain just cannot, focus on one of them, and it gets boring really fast. So I'm just like, what do I want to do today? Oh, after 3 rows of this, I'm already bored. I need to do something else. So that might be some kind of my attention deficiency disorder or something. I have nothing diagnosed. I have nothing diagnosed in that department, but I think there is something, at least something, because sometimes my brain is just like skipping from one to the other, and yeah. So we're working on this. This is about half of the ball of yarn that I have for this, and then I have one more, so we are okay on the yarn front. So the cat is growing. It's getting longer and longer, and it's kind of tough to store in my Craftsy space here. You know, it's not just Craftsy space, it's my everything space. That's the other thing. I get overwhelmed with the, you know, not mess, but the amount of stuff. And right now I'm in this state of mind that feels like there is too much stuff. I need to declutter, I need to throw stuff out and everything. And then I realize it's all stuff that I'm working on that needs to be addressed. You know, there is stuff to fix, there is stuff to sort, finish, everything. So it's just, yeah, that gets overwhelming pretty quickly. But I'm trying to, you know, get to the end of these projects that take more space, sorta, because storing this kind of big plushie is kind of hard. And I still need to sort some stuff. I showed you that video of the beads that were given to me, and I still have the paper bag with the boxes inside down beside my table here, and I need to organize my bead storage to be able to, you know, add this to it. And the core of the problem is that I'm not happy with my arts and crafts storage in a whole, because it's in different places around the flat. It's not concentrated to one spot. It can't even be, because the storage that we have doesn't really allow that. So yeah, I would love to make more storage more storage possibilities in this room, in our living room. Wow, the camera just threw me some error message. So I think I was talking about the stuff in our living room. For the storage solutions, you know, we would need to change up this furniture a bit, throw something out, get a new couch, all of that. And while we are at it, we would like to make a new floor over here, because it's creaky and old, and the concrete under the floor is probably, you know, disintegrating or something. So that's like this whole chain of stuff that would need to get solved to solve the Craftsy storage stuff. But I need to, you know, tweak it a bit so that it's easier for me to store the project in progress and all the stuff that comes and goes and all of that. So yeah. Anyways, also, while I was sorting the camera, and sorry if the angle somehow changed, but find a cat. There is a cat hidden in this picture. Anyways, the other projects, I will just take it as it is over here. I have a piece of fabric. This is the newest addition, basically, to the stash, and I'm not even sure right now how the sewing is going to progress, and I will talk about the sewing in a bit. And I'm making a whole video about sewing that one dress, but we'll get to that. But I saw this fabric on Vinted, which is this like internet thrift shop, second-hand shop from people, you know. So I saw this fabric, and it has Cleo written all over it. It just speaks the name of my best friend. So, well, here it is. Birds. Birds and flowers and colors and white background and all of that. And I believe she has this t-shirt that got me inspired, which is just like flowers on white background and twigs and leaves and all of that. But when I saw this with the birds, I was just like, she needs another t-shirt like that. And I shared it with her. She said, well, shirt, skirt, whatever, cover for anything. She would be happy to have something made out of this. So I bought it. There is quite a lot of it, but it's quite a thin knit. So I'll see what it's best for. I'd still say t-shirts probably. But we can try some skirt possibilities, maybe. We'll see. But I'm for now I'll be storing this in probably the cupboard where I have the fabrics that also need some sorting. But I should store this, you know, away for a bit before I'm really able to work with this. And that brings me to another thing, and it's gonna rustle. I'm sorry, there is paper and plastic involved. It's gonna rustle. Warning. I got some fabrics for sewing, and I'll talk about this in a separate video, as I said, but just to keep you updated, I finally decided to, you know, dive in with the Charlie's from the Stitchery favorite dress, the only pattern that she uses, because otherwise she's the queen of drafting things, drafting patterns. So it's the McCall's 7349, the comfy cozy knit dress, and I got myself some fabrics because I just, you know, perused the eShop and I found a piece of fabric that I loved, and I found out it's a remainder of just over 2 meters, and the prices were kinda okay, but still it got quite pricey. I found some matching fabrics to it. I checked the, you know, sizes of fabric, the measurements of fabric that I would need for this pattern, and I have package of fabric now, and when I went to the shop to pick it up, I picked up some needles for the machine and some thread that would match it. So, oops, one of the threads just ran away. This was the fabric that caught my eye. You can see those are totally my colors. When I showed this to my mom, she was like, of course these colors. So yeah, and I got some matching, you know, one colored knits to go with it, and I'm planning on some color blocking version of the dress, something like, you know, this version, but with short sleeves, which I'm imagining in pink, the front in the dark blue or the light blue, and the sides in the black and patterned fabric. So I started with, you know, checking the instructions for the pattern. Then I took a few days pause because just reading the instructions somehow doesn't work for me. I need to see the stuff in front of my eyes. So, sorry, I'll try to pack it back. So I opened the tissue paper with the pattern on it, and I got scared. I really got scared of, you know, cutting it out and everything, so I just packed it back. And, excuse me, that's the thread. And then I was just like, nope, I need to do this. I'll just open it, read the instruction, check everything, and see how it goes. And again, it's gonna be in a separate video, but I got kinda scared to cut the pattern, and I know some people do that, some people don't, and I just got somehow stuck and needed an advice, so I asked around among my friends who sew, and I was like, I'm afraid to cut this, you know, original tissue paper, and what should I do and everything, and I sort of forgot. I had this, you know, brain moment that you can copy. I was like, I should maybe copy this out, but I didn't know what to do. And they were like, you need your own tissue paper or your own, you know, tracing paper, and trace it out and cut that. So I was like, okay, but I might not have enough of the tracing paper. I knew I had some when I was at school, and I knew there is some remainder around here, but a small one, and this needs, like, you know, sheets of it. And I was like, the only thing I have are those baking sheets, you know, for lining your baking pans. I was like, I can't do that on that. So I went to my parents who live downstairs, and I was like, don't you have, you know, tracing paper or something? And they were like, oh, probably not, but we can check in the basement. And I went with my dad into the basement. And in the dustiest, farthest corner of a former office that is in the basement, where we had our first PC, you know, and the first dial-up internet connection ages ago, there was in the corner, among old posters and maps and everything, there was this roll of old tissue paper, packing paper, something. And I was like, yes, this works, it's okay. And those were big sheets of this paper, rustly, brown, old, but it worked. And I was able to trace the pattern on the paper. And just this morning I cut that out because I have copied it, you know, with a marker, and I spent like hour over just this and the hour before just, you know, looking through everything. And then I just packed those copied versions away. But even as I traced them, I was like, yes, I will be able to cut into this. It doesn't matter. It's just my copy of the original pattern. I'm not gonna damage anything. It's amazing. It, you know, changed the mood of the whole project. But only this morning I went back to cut out the traced pieces. So I now have this pile of neatly folded pieces, you know, with all the markings and everything on them. And my lesson so far is like, everything seems so easy for my brain every time. It's like, I'll be able to do this, because I was kind of that child that can do anything they try, you know, on the first try. And now it bites me into my backside because stuff is more complicated for adults. And this is not easy. And even, you know, cutting out shaped pieces of something out of this flimsy paper with scissors is kind of complicated. And I was like, I can't even cut a straight line. I can't even cut a curved line. It's like with crochet, they tell you, if you're starting with crochet, be ready to admit to yourself that you can't count, that your math is wrong. And with this, it's like, be ready to admit to yourself that you can't even cut out a piece of paper. So I'm curious to see how it's gonna work with the fabric. It kind of scares me again. But I have the pieces ready, and I will include, you know, stuff in the sewing video. But my intention is to first cut it out of old knit bed sheets and try it as a mock-up out of old bed sheets, although those are more stretchy than the fabric that I have for the final dress, but we'll see. And maybe, probably, that mock-up is going to turn into, you know, a nightgown or something, because all of my nightgowns are kind of falling apart. So maybe I'll gain a new nightgown, otherwise I need to order some. But yeah, I have that. And back to more comfy, for me, crafts. I started something which brought me quite a lot of joy, and I enjoyed it a lot, although I did a mistake that had me, you know, unraveling quite a bit back. And you have already seen the video. If you haven't, you can go back and watch it. I started this friendship bracelet, and it's that's the starburst pattern, as it is called. There are lots of variations. Excuse me. There are lots of variations to this pattern, and this one is one of the smaller ones, but still it has 26, you know, strings, so it's quite big. And it's not that challenging. The only challenge for me is that I use the scrap strings that I have shown you in the last update. And some of these are, you know, shorter than the others. So I need to plan my knots a bit to conserve the length of the shortest ones, which is one of the red ones and 4 of the dark blue ones. So this is how far I am now. It's the, wow, focus please. It's the length that was shown in the video, because since then I have worked on other stuff, but yeah, I'm going to finish this. It's gonna have probably like 5 of these diamond centers of the pattern, I hope, if the strings allow me. There's still quite a lot of it. And I have it fixed onto my table with this quite industrial, you know, clamp. But it works really well. It's just, you know, like this, through the clamp and onto my table, and it works really well. The table, by the way, is unfortunately peeling. Over last summer, over 1 week, my father repainted my blue table for me, but there is some issue with the paint and it's really soft and it scratches and the edge is already messy and looks, I don't want to say it, but it looks worse than before. And the paint is really soft. I can like scratch it with my fingernail, you know, and anything I bring over here and is hard enough, you know, like fork and knife and everything, it just is scratching the paint off. So we'll need to redo this. I'm not happy about that. Yeah, but anyways, I haven't worked on the calendar shawl too much since the last video. This is not it. I have several project bags. But I managed to get to the first color change of the yarn cake, and you can see it's getting kind of messy in here. There is the first hint of white in this yarn, and I stopped, and I haven't used a stitch marker to stop unraveling this. So I just got to the color change, and I was working on this outside, well, not outside, but at a gathering with friends. So I stopped to, you know, measure at home because I need to know how big the shawl is going to get, how much of the yarn was the first color change, all of that. So this is how far I have gotten with the calendar shawl, and I really like the pattern. It's great. It's making these ridges between the holy parts, and I changed the method a bit because at start it uses the original pattern uses the back loops to make the ridges, and I realized that I want the ridges to be more pronounced, and for that I need to do back post. Is it back post? Yeah, back post stitches in that row. So I changed after 3 of the ridges. The 4th one is back post, and I will probably go with back post for the whole shawl. So that's the calendar, and I've started the virus shawl. I know I have let everyone comment again at the update video, and you probably already expected me to, you know, start in the meantime making the virus shawl. I did after that video, and yes, I decided to keep the old one and just make a new one out of the yarn cake that I believe I have shown in the video. It's this one. And here is how far I've gotten so far. So we are past the first color change. There is already a bit of purple at the last 2 repeats. This pattern, I get it why it is so popular. It's like I am tempted to say this is the most popular triangular shawl pattern there is. because it's just a simple 4-row repeat, and the calendar is also a 4-row repeat, but somehow that one is sort of more complex because I can see less logic in it. You know, there is sometimes in the top corner chain space, sometimes in the calendar shawl you put in 2 single crochets and 2 chains, sometimes you put 3 double crochets and 1 chain. It changes in every row, and with this it as well changes with every row. But it makes sense because with every row you're building the base for the next one. And somehow for my brain, and I believe for many people, it clicks with this. And it's just simple. It's very simple. So it grows quickly, it's quite enjoyable, and I'm able to do this, you know, while watching videos or listening to something else or something, and I don't need to still, you know, count stuff and everything. The one thing you need to count is the amount of the double crochets in these, you know, fun parts, and you only need to count the first row where you do them in the repeat, so that's the second row of the repeat, and there, in this case, there are 10 of them in each of these ones. And the funny thing is, every time I stop myself to count how many I've done, to check if I'm already at 10 or if I need to add some, it's always 8. I always stop at 8 and I feel like it's enough and I always need to add 2. So that's quite funny. But yeah, I really like this one. I also like the shape that it's making, you know, the fan, kind of like peacocky feather kind of pattern. I like it, and I really like the color combination in this yarn cake. It's going to be amazing. I can already see it. So it's really enjoyable to work on this, and I'm really happy with it. And I found the hook for it, which I used for the original virus shawl that I made these, you know, what, almost 5 years ago. It was in the summer, but yeah, sort of 5 years ago. So this is, I had a picture of it, so this is the hook that I used for that one, so I'm using it for this one as well, but my attention is elsewhere, as you have seen. So I'm intentionally making it even a bit tighter than I would normally, but because there are these big-ish holes, that's because I just don't like big holes in the shawls. So it's a bit tighter than I would normally do it, but I like it this way. Yeah, so, and the last thing is something you've seen in the corner probably all this time, and that's Mom's cardigan. The other stuff that you may know that I have sort of like in the work in progress state, but haven't touched again, is the blue cardigan for myself. Haven't touched it, it's just sitting there on the windowsill. But Mom's cardigan is progressing, and I'm really happy about it. Mom is really happy about it. She has seen it yesterday? Yeah, because we needed to redo some stuff. I'll show you. This is the state the cardigan is in, and it doesn't fit the screen, but there is something new here, and you might recognize that pattern. So there is one side done, one arm side done. This is an arm side, and I already had that done at one point, and then I finished it, I joined the sides, and I've already seen at that point that the arm side is too big. And I went and measured it on my mom directly, and it was just gaping. It was too big, it wasn't good. So I had to rip the whole side panel off. and redo it, you know, a few centimeters longer, basically. So there were these window-ish patterns. In the second run, I added a row of these windows, and I made this one less wide, and I kept the virus pattern in there, but I had to make a new calculation for that, because you need to know, you know, the amount of stitches you need to have in each of the fans. And then I did just this brown row to make it even and reconnect it to the front side of the cardigan. So this is now the side. And we checked with Mom, and the arm side is still kind of big, but it's okay, it's not gaping. And we decided that in the end, when it's already in the body part, we'll do some shaped sleeves, which is going to be kind of a bit of a challenge, but I think I'll be able to do that. So now I'm working on the other side panel. I joined it right to the back part of the cardigan, and I'm working on this like grainish, braid-ish pattern here. I want to do like 4 rows of that. Then I need to insert some other color, and then I want to do one of these braids in the mauvish pink color. So that's gonna be the other side panel, and I hope it's gonna work. I hope it's gonna be okay. It's still quite a simple construction. It's gonna get more complex when we get to the sleeves. For the front part, we decided to do this like shawl-ish lapels and band around the whole front part. So that should be pretty easy, I believe. So we'll see about that, but the main question is going to be if all of these scrap yarns, which there was such a pile of them, if they are going to be enough for all of that. And I hope they will be. And Mom said she kind of enjoys, you know, those holy patterns a bit, so we might be able to save a bit on patterns that are more holy than the others, but I don't want the cardigan to be, you know, not warm. So I need to find a balance between that and honestly, Mom looks like she's gonna be content with anything. She really likes it, but I want to do it, you know, nice and comfy and usable, because I've already made a hexagon cardigan for her, and she doesn't seem to wear it that often, and I want this to be, you know, used. So we'll see. As you have seen, I have quite a lot of projects going. As I said, that's where my brain is right now, and I can see the other end of the wave coming, you know, with finishing all of this stuff. But the shawls are in their, you know, first, I don't know, 10th, 8th of the process. I need to finish the bracelet. The cat is progressing, but there's a lot of work on her as well. The sewing, I need time space for the sewing and all of that, so yeah, quite a lot to do. I am really happy that you decided to spend your time with me and watch this video, and to all of you who have watched to the end, thank you so much. And thank you for interacting with the channel, if it's liking, if it's commenting, if it's sharing the videos maybe even. And I have to thank everyone who subscribed so far. We went with that number over 500 recently. It just crawled over 500, and it's amazing to have like 500 people subscribe to the videos. I know those 500 are not watching the videos. I can see the numbers, you know, in the analytics. There is about 30, 40 views at each video. It's not much. I know I'm this like super tiny Craftsy channel, but I'm really thankful to everyone who's watching and who have subscribed. 40 people even is like bigger than a whole class of kids at school, you know, listening to me, which is amazing. And 500 is like 4 times bigger than my biggest talk at the convention was. So that's truly amazing. Thank you so much. I think there might be some kind of not Craftsy shorts in the making during, you know, spring and summer, and maybe some live update vlogs and all of that. So if you would be interested in that, let me know. If you know some shorts from, you know, just my remarks from traveling and seeing stuff in the wild, maybe some architecture, which is my great interest as well, would be welcome. So just let me know about that, and for now, have a great time. Enjoy crafting, enjoy creating, and enjoy the colors. Goodbye.